Welcome to Football Moshla podcast. We are back after I don't know how many days. Fardan and Kazi Adil are here. So now a lot of people have asked us why this break. Where were we? Well, let's just put it this way. Fardan is a very busy man, and he's still very busy. Basically, Fardan was busy launching a book by a famous personal development author, I guess. Not famous, but in the process of getting famous. But in other words, let's just put it this way, he was busy helping her launching this book. And in my humble opinion, one of the prettiest women in the world, Shahade Zahrai. So, Fardan, what was the name of the book that you helped launch?
Since I was having trust issues, I went to Shade Zahrai, and the name of the book is Big Trust. And I was there for the official launch in the US. She was traveling. If you
Mm,
don't know her, she has
mm,
more than 5 million followers. What started with just random reels on Instagram. She has studied vastly on personal development, among other criteria that help us in the real world, including workforce, including relationships, how we speak, how we respond to emails. So I got hooked onto it. I subscribed. I did the heart react in most of her videos, and I was privileged because I and lucky because she actually, as she was getting on the flight to JFK, on the story I messaged her and she messaged me. I little thought that the AI is responding to me, her AI assistant, but I shook hands with her, and she said no, it was her.
wow.
She personally, and so I was like starstruck seeing her. And by the way, it seems like I'm not the only one busy. Adil was also busy. Huh, Adil, weren't you busy?
Yeah, I was busy asking people to come on to the podcast in your absence. I had to actually reach out to my childhood friend from Canada. To was like, hey, buddy, you want to come on the podcast? I need to. We need some filler episodes.
That was
Uh,
nice. That was a
yeah,
good
yeah.
episode.
That was like two Manchester United fans talking about Manchester United and Michael
Geeking out.
Carrick, geeking out. Yes, and we had a blast uh, doing that. So yeah, I was busy going after people, and I was busy uh, just checking out Instagram of Fardan, where he's going. And,
While we were absent, guys,
yeah,
this Manchester United dismantled Arsenal, the Emirates, with
yeah,
this shirt, with
yeah.
Cunha doing that iconic celebration at the Emirates, and that made me order this right away because this would end up being an iconic jersey because of that celebration. And so much has happened, and we'll get right along to it. Football Moshla is back for you guys. Smash the like button, share this video, and subscribe if you haven't. So let's get this ball rolling, Adil.
Yes. So we're gonna talk about Arsenal losing to Southampton today. Whenever this episode comes out, let's say this weekend, um, Liverpool losing to Manchester City in the FA Cup, Manchester United's search for a permanent manager, Real Madrid losing ground in La Liga, and Barcelona almost wrapping up the La Liga title. And dear Chelsea fans, you really don't want to miss this. One of your players, consistent player, talked about a city in Spain and a player from that city who retired. That player was retired. His name is Tony Cruz, retired, and he talked about that. And then he got dropped for 2 games by Chelsea manager Liam Rossinier. The player that we'll talk about is Enzo Fernandez of Chelsea. So let's get straight into it. Arsenal losing to Southampton
Southampton.
from
Arsenal have lost to Southampton. So
yeah,
that weight of that, just that little sentence, that current Arsenal team in this season.
the best Premier League team in this season as per points, facts, lost to Southampton and Manchester City in the last 2 games. So
And
they lost
Southampton is in the Championship, not in the Premier League.
no, they're in the championship. Yes. They have a player called Fellows who is a fellow
Oh,
basically.
he's a jolly good fellow.
He's a very jolly good fellow who gave another fellow miles, Lewis Skelly, or kilometers um, and Calafiore became Princess Fury. So
Please don't confuse him with Nick Fury from the Avengers.
no, it's Calafiore. Calafiore.
Kala Fury doesn't mean Kalo Nick Fury. It means Kala Fury. And what a week for Kala Fury after that exit
Italian.
from the World Cup, right?
Yeah, Italian. Can I say the word Italian? Bad job. Bad job. Basically, yeah. I'd say Italy didn't qualify for the World Cup. That's another separate topic. Let's not go there for now. But let's talk about Arsenal. Arsenal losing back-to-back games. One is a Carabao Cup final to Manchester City 2-0, and one to Southampton 2-1. Away to Southampton, a championship side. But Fardan, my thing is this: they recalled almost half their team from international duty just to lose to Southampton because they took this very seriously, FA Cup, because they were looking for the quadruple. That was not happening because they lost to Manchester City, but they were going for the treble. They they got a lot of players back from international duty. They did bend the rules a little bit. Let's put it this way: they sent them out and then said that, hey, you guys have muscle injuries, come back. And with muscle injuries, you can't prove it technically. I that's
You
my
could just
my
say it and get away with it.
or you can say I have a back pain, like Matthias did it, and just don't play for the entire season. So yeah, so that's what it is. So
So think about it. Just in mid March, Arsenal, top of the league, they have a break. They're going to play Champions League stage with Bayer Leverkusen. And then two um, matches. One is with Man City in the AFL Cup, which was the final.
mhm.
And then in a matter of days, with Southampton, which was a FA Cup tie, quarterfinal, right? And both of them critical games. So there was a lot of banter or online that by the time Premier League restarts again, we'll have a trophy. So Arsenal fans were pretty confident we're gonna have a trophy because the quadruple tatter kept on going all along, and we were like, no problem. Yeah, even with my friends, I said Arsenal will get it done. But a team that relies on defense, a team that is with Arteta, who is relying on set pieces or dead ball situations where Gyökeres waits to take the mask off while the ball is just rolling and the keeper is scrambling. If that's the tactic, it's not going to work. Eze is not always going to score a worldie from outside the box, which, by the way, was a fantastic strike. I think it's one of the goals of the season. But then again, if you have to rely on miracles all the time or a worldie all the time, it will only get you so far. This loss to Southampton for Arsenal away from home, yeah, I get it. Emirates is great and everything, but where is your caliber? Your bench is stacked. Your players they're not like off form or anything. You're top of the table. So if you do this kind of performance and losing to a championship side, crashing out of the FA Cup, two cups are already gone. So are you gonna say we got the double? But then again, Champions League, Sporting is up next. I don't even see them. I see them struggling against Sporting, especially on the away game.
you think so?
I'm
I
strongly believing, and I know this will go online, and you can clip it, and you can put it down that away match at Sporting, Arsenal's gonna struggle.
I don't think so. I think Arsenal will do what they did to Leverkusen in the Champions League. They probably gonna get a draw at Sporting, squeeze out a
Hmm.
draw, and then bring them to the Emirates and just smash them with corner set pieces. It was like,
Yeah,
listen, we
they
we
did get.
can play, we can play tiki taka and possession based football. Like we have the players, but we just decide we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna use Saliba and Gabriel to score goals.
Yeah,
Declan Rice,
Gabriel has been practicing well. He has blocked goals with his front teeth in the Premier
yes.
League, and they got nine corners in the game against Southampton, and which means nine possibilities at the goal. Remember, whenever they get a corner, it's a much higher possibility of scoring, especially
Well,
against the championship side.
by the way, we should not discard that part that we're not. telling them that you do not score from set pieces, right? We're not making fun of it because there's another team that you're wearing the jersey of, Manchester United. They actually gave them a taste of their own medicine at Emirates,
At
and
Emirates. Yep.
that's how the tide a little bit shifted a little bit. I think a lot of teams, even Leverkusen, scored from a set piece, and they were like, "Oh, listen, you guys want to score from set pieces? We can do the same thing." So they have been studying the Arsenal's tactics. So this has got them this far, and I think Arteta going to stick to it. And I think Arsenal's they're going to wrap up the Premier League and they're going to go far in the Champions League. I think that, in my opinion, these two are not important competition, even though a win would have done enormously well. Like I remember back in the day, a League Cup win did to young Manchester City with Pep Guardiola,
Hmm.
a team, even Luis Saha's, when Luis Saha was coming in, Manchester United were going through a transition. A League Cup
Hmm.
win did wonders for Manchester United at that time. So I think a Carabao Cup or a League Cup, these trophies are important. FA Cup is very much important. Look at Manchester United; they somehow lived off of these winning these trophies in the last post Ferguson era, right? They won the FA Cup two times, I think, and I think League Cup the last I think one or two times under Mourinho and Ten Hag.
Hmm.
So these are important stuff. They cover paper over the cracks to an extent. So Arsenal might be will be disappointed, but not winning these either one of them. But I think the big target is the Premier League. But here's the thing: Manchester City do have a game in hand. A lot of people are forgetting that. So the title will be decided when Manchester City plays Arsenal. Basically, whoever wins it wins the title. And this Manchester City team has deviated from Pep Guardiola tiki taka style football. It's more like transitioning into, I dare say, Klopp style football because Pep Guardiola's right hand, Pep Linders, is used to be Jurgen Klopp's right hand.
Hmm.
So he came from Liverpool. He was at Liverpool, I think, under Klopp, and he came from Liverpool to Manchester City. And that's the reason I think you can see a little bit of blueprint of counter-attacking style, heavy metal style of football, because that's why you can see a Semenyo type of signing. That's why you can see a Donnarumma type of signing. No, not playing out from the back. That's why you can see a Khosanov type of a signing. Direct, fast-paced. Get that. So a lot has changed. So yeah, Arsenal's biggest test is Manchester City when they face each other.
Yeah, that's on April 19.
Yep.
And before that, they face Bournemouth at home, which I think that it's going to be a walk in the park for Arsenal. Even though Bournemouth defensively have been a very good squad in the last couple of months.
Bournemouth. It's a tough one for Arsenal, to be honest. If
And they're,
Ryan,
yeah,
if Ryan and Senesi turns up, but you cannot. Senesi is Bournemouth's Gabriel, right?
pretty much. Yeah, he doesn't use his teeth, but he gets the job done.
So yeah.
And remember, the Man City game is at the Etihad, the Abu Dhabi stadium, not the Dubai stadium. So,
Ooh. So it's not the Emirates. It's at the Etihad. Is it? It's at home to Manchester City.
yeah, home to Man City, exactly. And we know how good Man City are at home, especially with the crowd and how they get when the rival team is in their stadium.
So before we move on from this, do you have any last things to say about Arsenal?
Look, if you have put the crowd that your players are injured on the international break, you're refraining them from playing their friendlies, which means you are planting it on your players that your club is more important, regardless of the World Cup coming up. The friendlies, people took it very seriously. We saw Mitoma scoring, playing so well against England, and did not make it look like a friendly. Nakamura, Mitoma, they were like, oh, it's like a World Cup, what do you call that? Warm up match. Okay?
Yeah.
England
Yeah.
didn't stand a chance. Excuse me. Mitoma scored an excellent goal. This is Premier League quality. And a lot of friendlies were very well fought out. Okay? I'm not talking about the World Cup qualifiers because that's going to digress us a little bit. But if you are refraining your players, you're making the club look important, and then they end up losing at this stage. This is very embarrassing, even for the players. Okay, where's that moral boost? Okay, fine, we'll win the Premier League, then we'll go to United States and we'll play the World Cup. I don't think so. You need more trophies. Okay, just because your Premier League is kind of confirmed based on the lead you have, no, I don't think so. They're gonna face a lot of backlash, which they're already facing. People are coming online and saying that their fans are getting scammed by Arteta and Arsenal, and at this point, they deserve all the diss they're getting.
Imagine if Michael Carrick took over in July. Arsenal would have been in a very difficult position.
For sure.
And this would have been probably Mikel Arteta's last season if they couldn't win the Premier League.
Hmm.
I still think that he will survive even if they don't win the Premier League, which um, might be a possibility, but maybe a 5% possibility that they bottle it up. I don't think they're gonna bottle it up. They're gonna win it, but yeah, Arteta is under serious pressure. Now, talking about pressure, Fardhan, there's um, another manager who's under, let's just say, a little bit of pressure. Arne
Hmm.
Slot of Liverpool losing to Manchester City in the FA Cup away to Manchester City, losing 4-0. Could have been 4-1. Salah missed a penalty to make it 4-1, but
Big deal.
yeah, but they losing 4-0 to Manchester City, Haaland scoring a hat trick, Semenyo scoring a goal. This was more like Liverpool getting pegged back by more like a counter-attacking style of play, not like a tiki-taka Manchester City.
Hmm.
This had the blueprint of Pep Linders or Jurgen Klopp all over it.
Hmm.
And Arne Slot is under serious pressure. And a
For
lot of
sure, yeah.
Liverpool fans are saying that he should be replaced by Javi Alonso after this season, or he should be sacked right now or fired and get replaced by Steven Gerrard temporarily up until the end of the season, and then they should go for Alonso. What's your take on that, Ferdinand?
Knowing Liverpool, who are current champions, they had such a phenomenal season last season under Arne Slot, and they ran away with the league. They played so well, but if you look at this season, they focused on buying high quality players. It was
Yeah,
Isak, Frimpong, Kerkez, among a few. I might be missing, but
Ekitike.
these Ekitike, thank you. So
Yeah,
Ekitike obviously playing so good. He has gelled in nicely and in Isak's
words.
absence.
Pour in
Four
words.
words, thank you. So these are the players. Words took a little bit of time to sink in, but he's doing good. But good is sometimes not good enough for the Premier League. You have to be one of the best, which we're seeing in the likes of Semenyo, who's perhaps having his best season at Manchester City, and who was doing so good at his previous club as well. So why are we talking about this? Why am I mentioning this? Because individual brilliance isn't everything. For that Semenyo to come in to Manchester City, a big club, and just blend in, needed Pep Guardiola's little bit of tweaking that we know that he's known for. For Liverpool, Arne Slot, he his tactics were okay, I would say. But how do you adapt mid game or during the game? That adaptability wasn't there this season. We saw them struggle against mid tier teams in the Premier League. We saw them struggle in the group stage of the Champions League. And even right now, today, 4-0, that speaks volumes. Like I understand Manchester City is a great team. Just but 4-0 to Manchester City, crashing out of the FA Cup, terrible. Arne Slot, even if he leaves now, Jabi Alonso, I think, is a very good replacement. Stevie G coming in, I don't see him being able to handle this whole stacked squad, because I like to call Liverpool a stacked squad. Even when I play EAFC FIFA with Liverpool, I look at the names. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, yeah, I'm well covered. So I think that Arne Slot might be able to continue until the end of the league, but then again, it's a decision for the bosses.
Well, I think in my opinion, I think they should stick with Arne Slot beyond this season. And here's my reason why. I understand Liverpool supporters loved Jurgen Klopp heavy metal style football, blah blah blah. His personality and stuff like that. He battered Manchester United multiple times, but he only won the Premier League one time
Exactly.
and the Champions League one time. Champions League the two also defeating a Tottenham team led by Mauricio Pochettino,
Hmm.
who is I don't rate highly. I don't rate Mauricio Pochettino highly, and we can all see he's gonna make a bad mess out of the USA squad in the World Cup. So I don't I don't discredit Jurgen Klopp, but he only won it after a lot of trying. He won it during the COVID season. It's 2020 2021 season, right?
Hmm.
And that was it. He didn't win it after that. And Arne Slot comes in his first season. He tweaks a little few things and he wins the Premier League. You know how much managers like Solskjaer, Jose Mourinho, Pochettino, even Conte with Tottenham, they would have given up to win it in their first try.
Hmm.
So I think, and also Liverpool lost to PSG on fine margins last season in the Champions League. Liverpool
Remember,
gave PSG a run for their money.
they were gonna face PSG in just a matter of days.
Yes. So it's going to be if Liverpool beats PSG, they are the dark horses of this Champions League. And Arne Slot might be like, you know what? Let's win the Champions League, and I'm going to show you guys the middle finger, and I'm off.
Now that would be heavy metal. You know, if he's able to pull it off.
That will
If
be
he
ball metal.
That would be
Ball.
bald metal because he'd be like, screw you. But then again, PSG is, the current champions. They're so good. And Luis Enrique, they are pretty much, I would say that they're guaranteed semifinalists at this point, statistically speaking. Now, if they can pop off against PSG, I think they would rely on the Anfield fixture, personally.
Yeah.
If they aren't able to, then it's bye bye. And then, because think about it, if the bosses are making a decision, then they would have to have a manager coming in for the PSG fixtures. And who would just come in and be able to get like within a matter of 8 days, they're going to face PSG, Fulham, and PSG again. So they would need a high caliber manager to come in and
Yeah, yeah.
just.
They have Jamie Carragher's boy, Steven Gerrard. Jamie Carragher is going after Mo Salah and Arne Slot from this start of this season. So
Mhm.
Jamie Carragher has some agenda behind him, and he wants his boy Stevie G or
Stevie
his
G.
other boy Javi Alonso. I don't know how he says it in a Scouse accent, right? Or uh, myself, and Stevie G will get them up and running. But yeah, I think Liverpool should stick with Arne Slot. He's done a good job. This season will always would have been as soon as the Diogo Jota thing happened and they sold Luis Diaz and Trent Alexander-Arnold left. This would have been a difficult season. I did not fancy them retaining the title this season, even with all the signings that they made, um, because of a lot of factors. Luis Diaz was a big factor. Luis Diaz, they shouldn't have gotten rid of him um, without replacing him. So I think that's a big factor. And to protect Salah, they should have kept Trent or a right back. Frimpong is not a right back, with all due respect. He played as a right wing back. He used to play for Manchester City, and Manchester City let him go. So there's a reason Manchester City let players go.
It's as if
They
people forget. Like, do people forget these things? I don't get it. Like,
Well, Manchester City let Cole Palmer go, Jadon Sancho go. We can talk about Jadon Sancho, how that turned out.
well,
They
he's a
let
freedom
they
fighter, right?
Yeah, he's a freedom fighter. He's fighting for his freedom right now. No contract, end of contract. So no one's gonna renew his contract. He's gonna leave as on a free agent, as a free agent. So yeah, I think Liverpool should stick with Arne Slot. That's my opinion. Liverpool fans can argue, but that's as a I would like to not just for Liverpool to go downhill, but I like to see that. But here's my thing: if they get rid of Arne's slot, I think Liverpool are getting into an era that Manchester United are currently in
Ooh,
after the post Fergie era, that they have not won any like major trophies like the Premier League. I think Liverpool are going into that because they have to replace Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, who's he's always injured. They have to
Konate,
replace Konate. They have to replace Mo Salah to an extent. McAllister. Um,
who's
yeah. So
very surely leaving this summer. Salah and Alexis
yeah,
McAllister.
and then Gakpo is not going to do you much. So Liverpool, and then they're behind the scenes. Two of their executives or director, I think Richard Hughes, I, I mean, I'll butcher the names, or I will not. Their contract is up on like 2027, summer of
Hmm.
2027,
Hmm.
and they have interest from Saudi clubs to become their director of football. Or so a lot is happening in Liverpool, so they might be in a loop of post Fergie era like Manchester United. But again, might not be the case because their ownership is well structured, unlike Manchester United, and then they don't have debt.
Well, if you
Uh,
just visualize for a second, guys, if you just visualize that whole slump kind of that's coming, if it comes, which I think is like a very strong statement, but if it comes in for Liverpool, they're looking at least like 3 or 4 seasons of like battling to even like stay in the top 10.
it might be if they get rid of Arne Slot. If they stick with him and give him the signings that he wants in this
Hmm.
summer,
Hmm.
then I think they can arrest the slide. Let's put it that way. They were back to
It's the
competing in the top three, top four, the title.
the
But
curse
if
of the Newcastle fans.
the curse of the Newcastle, Alexander Isak. Now, talking about curses, uh, there's a team called Manchester United. You're wearing their jersey. They have been cursed after Ferguson left.
Yes.
And then there's a Ferguson protege, Michael Carrick,
Michael Carrick.
steps in, steadies the ship a little bit. Should have won the games that he did not win. Let's just put it that way. Shouldn't have lost to Newcastle, but I blame it on Malasia. Should have been a draw. Uh, Michael Carrick is the only front runner for the Manchester United permanent position alongside Julian Nagelsmann of Germany. So, if you ask me in short, we're not going to spend too much time on this. In short, I have said it many times in this channel. Michael Carrick should get the manager's job, even though Manchester United lose out of the Champions League spot this season. I think they should stick with Michael Carrick, get the signings that they need, and go again next season. Manchester United are not going to win the Premier League until they have an ownership change, period, and they get rid of the debt. That's the thing. So expecting Manchester United to win the league next season is like expecting miracle to happen, and that's not going to happen. Even if it's Michael Carrick, Julian Nagelsmann, even if Luis Enrique comes in, it's
Wow.
it's a it's a problem. It's a cultural problem. It's an ownership problem. If the ownership is garbage, that place is garbage, basically.
Yeah, it's
So
basically a pyramid where the foundation actually starts from the ownership. And yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, we love Carrick. We love what he's done. We love, that fact that he's giving people chances to cut their hair and everything. He brings hope. So after all that, I feel like the draw at West Ham and the loss at Newcastle made me sad. Because it made us dream again. Because that whole run of winning and scoring even at away fixtures. Because there was a time for many seasons we would just hate going away. Like going away to a different stadium would be like, oh, away fixture. Oh, points are not coming. Or maybe a point. Or maybe a last minute scrambler or Fergie time, something happens. Bruno Fernandez penalty. I don't know. But then again, the hope came in. We got points at Everton. Newcastle, I wasn't expecting a loss. I said, you know what, let's do a draw. 1-1, 2-2, something like that. But I think, and then another draw against Bournemouth, which also like look, there's so many points that went missing from there, and we could have been probably number two on the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
And then right before Ruben Amorim left, there were a lot of draws against Wolves and Leeds and all
West Ham.
these West
Yeah.
Ham. Thank you. So that's like so many points. That's like 2 to 2, 6 points right there. Another draw at West Ham, 8 points. Draw at Bournemouth, 10 points. So that those 10 points, if you add it to the current table right now, Man United would be right breathing down Arsenal's neck, right?
Yeah.
But it's fine. I mean, we always can talk about what could have been, right? But the best part is, to play the devil's advocate, we have to focus on the glass half full, and that's because we can hope again. We don't have to watch them. We don't have to watch the games hiding behind a couch or a sofa or behind your wife. You can watch the game with wearing the jersey and banging your chest like let's do this, Man United. And that win against Aston Villa was another statement win for Michael Carrick. Even after the win against Arsenal, it was amazing
Yes.
for what
Yes.
they did at Aston Villa, and it was amazing.
Also, they passed the Tottenham test. That was also one of the big one for Carrick early on. So I think Michael Carrick should stay. I don't want Julian Nagelsmann because Bayern Munich got rid of him when he was almost on the verge of winning the Bundesliga, but he has some clashing issues, right? So he will clash with the leadership structure, and he will demand certain things from the English Premier League Manchester United players. Well, let's face it. Unless you change the entire Manchester United squad, these players are not fast enough or agile enough or can do high press.
Hmm.
So whatever Michael Carrick is doing is like slowing it down, play a little bit of boring football, pass it and hit the wingers with the counter. Let's just do that. We have Dorgu coming back, so these are fast players. So the only benefit is if you bring in fast and technically good players, right? So if you bring in, let's say, in the summer, two midfielders of good caliber, a left winger and a left back, right, or even a number 10 or another secondary striker, then Manchester United of a squad that Carrick can play around or any manager can play around with, unless you play three at the back or 5-3-2 formation. That will not work with whatever players you're going to bring into this club. So that's that. Let's move on from
I'm gonna add
Manchester
a
United.
little bit. Yeah, he did
Yeah,
slow things down, but he did give people a lot of Jadon Sancho. Sorry, I meant to say freedom. There's a lot
yeah.
of freedom for the center backs to move up. Harry Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, Eleni Yoro, they move up. They're very free. There's a bit of a swagger. The way they do the Bruno Cunha, Cunha Bruno. That thing whole thing went viral because they kept passing in a triangle. So there's a lot of confidence because they don't have to be shackled within a system that's shackling their abilities, that's shackling their talent. Amad Diallo flying through the right wing, cutting in sometimes, keeping the defenders guessing. Cunha doing a decent job, I would say, at left wing, and then shifting to the central position as well, as needed, and that having that little mental presence. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but being awareness. Sorry, awareness that this is what's needed at that time. So that was missing for a long time, and he has injected that confidence into the players, and that's very exciting to see.
Man management, like Ferguson style, squeezing
Exact.
maximum out of the players, right?
Hmm.
Ferguson won, and remember, Ferguson won multiple titles with John O'Shea
Cream of the crop.
and
Yeah.
Darren Gibson. So just think about that. So Michael Carrick can win it with anybody then. Moving on to winning with anybody, there's a team called Real Madrid in La Liga who just doesn't want to take the lead in that La Liga race. They have the opportunity, they just mess up, blow up. Your team, Real Madrid, Fardan, what's going on? They're giving a 7 point lead to Barcelona, and Barcelona is hell bent on winning the La Liga, which is I guess is okay. They just won it last season. They're gonna win it again because La Liga technically doesn't have any contenders apart from Real Madrid and Barcelona. That's the only reason I don't watch La Liga like that because it's a boring league. They have technically good players, but physically they're all garbage. Uh, but unless you're Real Madrid and you come up on the Champions League stage, then then the football heritage part comes around, right? The European heritage. Real Madrid. So what's going on?
Real Madrid at one point of the season, when I think that there was 20 games played or 24 games played, don't quote me on that, they were a couple of points ahead from Barcelona. And Barcelona were not looking that good. They were drawing games, they were dropping points, but Madrid had a decent run. And suddenly, Madrid started losing, not just drawing, losing games to, like you said, La Liga, and maybe not that competitive. Maybe with the whole season, people wait for the Madrid derby, the El Clasico,
Yeah, that's it.
and and
Villarreal.
and recently
Some
the Atletico Madrid Barcelona rivalry, which is good because Atletico Madrid did blow a lot of teams out of the park, including Real Madrid. So yeah, but this season Atletico Madrid did really good.
did they beat
Uh
Real Madrid?
yeah.
Where in Copa? Was it Copa or Super
I think it
Copa?
was La Liga too. Again, don't quote me on that. Like as mentioned in the beginning of the podcast.
Because Simeone got beaten up by Real Madrid so many times that I think, oh, Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid, Real is winning.
Real is winning. Yeah,
But
that's not the case anymore. So now they have a 7 point lead. They are pretty much on their way to yet another trophy. And Real Madrid, like as a fan, I would say that it really heartbreaking. Today they lost to Mallorca, who are ranked 17th on the table, 2-1 when our centre back Militao scored, and it was not a good game. Even for Mbappe, it was not a good game. Um, and that says it. Like the same team would go to the Champions League and make Man City look like whatever. But then again, to play the devil's advocate, that second leg at Manchester City, until Bernardo Silva got the red card, the first 8 minutes, Manchester City could have scored at least 3 goals, or maybe two. They were rampant on scoring. They really wanted to come back 3-3. They were venomous and terrific attacking force. As soon as the Bernardo Silva red card happened, the tide shifted as expected. And Real Madrid did what they do best. What did they do best? They didn't score goals. They got caught offside. They missed easy chances. They would wait for penalties. So that's what really makes me mad as a Real Madrid fan. That whole Carlo Ancelotti era, there would be a force.
Zidane era, not the Carlo
Let's
Ancelotti.
not go that much back. Let's come a little bit more
Zidane
towards the
era, three,
Benzema era.
three, three Champions League in a row. Even though they didn't deserve all three, but yeah, they got
I'm not
lucky.
even
But
gonna go that far. That whole like
yeah,
that team presence, that where everybody's brains locked in as one, you know, like a large tarantula, whatever you'd like to call it.
you were
But
talking about
that
the Benzema Ballon d'Or era.
the Benzema Ballon d'Or era, yeah. So
Yeah,
at that time, the whole team had a lot of grit. There was a lot of physical presence. Carvajal was so good. Everybody were excellent. So that whole team thing isn't there. It's always let's pass it to Vinny. Let's look for Mbappe. Vinny and Mbappe again struggling to be on the left side. Bellingham runs. He runs.
after Kim
And
Kardashian.
no,
No,
that's
I'm just
Lewis
saying.
Hamilton.
Oh, didn't Bellingham run after Kim
Maybe he did.
before Lewis Hamilton
Maybe he
got
did
wind
that.
of it? Okay,
We should do a gossip section one day.
yeah, that'll Alicia Lemon. Yeah,
And Douglas Lewis. Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Who's back in the Premier League. Anyways, let's not digress. Alicia Lemon
yeah.
always makes me forget a lot about what I'm talking about,
Even
including him.
Shade, make you forget Shade Zerai.
No, I would never forget Shadizarai because that name itself, Shadizarai, it always makes me lose my train of thought and I pause for a long time.
Back to Real Madrid.
Huh?
Back to Real Madrid.
Back to Real Madrid. Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
So that whole thing about the Benzema era, because the whole team was a force, and
yeah.
that's missing because there was all of the things where let's pass it to Vinny and see what happens. And Vinicius, no matter how top you rate him, he will not be that person who gets you the goals. He did a lot of different kind of gestures at the Man City fans at the Etihad, which I think was very childish and unnecessary.
I
I
didn't
mean,
like
you
that.
should.
I didn't like that.
I mean, I'm a Manchester United fan. I would love to, piss on Manchester City, but I'm not doing it because your performance is not speaking. Actions always speak louder than words on the pitch. But I don't. I did not see that from it. It was very embarrassing to see it and to call myself a Madrid fan in front of others. But hey, they got the points through. But now, onto the big picture. Bayern Munich coming in a couple of
Yes.
days. How are you going to look at that, Adil? What's your 2 cents?
Well, it's at one point there is a a company that is coming after Real Madrid, right? It's Bayern Munich. It's a company. Yeah,
Not a
it's
franchise.
not a franchise. It's a company. Now, with all seriousness, Harry Kane versus Mbappe slash Vinny Jr. This Bayern Munich team, I was watching them very closely today. I follow Bundesliga. They were almost losing. They ended up winning 3-2 without Harry Kane. Uh, they have a youngster called Lennon Carl. He's a magician, a little magician.
Hmm.
Reminds me of another magician called Lionel Messi. I'm not going to compare them, but I'm just saying that the ball dribbling skills and all this stuff is there. Bayern Munich have a lot of weapons, but again, at the end of the day, you never count out Real Madrid, Mbappe and Vinny Jr. One counter attack, two counter attacks, that's it, game over.
Couple of
Because
offsides.
couple of up, and Upamecano is still a Bayern Munich defender, so anything can happen, and Bayern Munich can always lose.
Yeah, don't
Uh,
forget Michael Olise.
Michael Olise is there, but there is Manuel Neuer who's going to sign a new contract. He's 40 years old, 40 freaking years old. He retired from German national team,
He's signing a
but
new contract for a new house or what?
no, for with Bayern Munich,
No,
he's gonna
no way.
he's gonna play up until he's 41 years old or 42 years old.
Ah.
And with all due respect, the guy's reflex is not going away that much compared to a 40-year-old, right? I've seen Gianluigi Buffon, Gigi Buffon losing his reflexes when he was 40 years old, and then he had to end up going to Parma. But this guy, he's sticking with Bayern Munich. He has Jonas Erbig. Is the future of German goalkeeping. There were a lot of future of German goalkeepers like Nubel, Erbig, Ulrich is always on the bench. Ter Stegen never got a chance to play for Germany because of Manuel Neuer. So yeah, so Bayern Munich has a lot of players that can actually give Real Madrid a hard time. It's going to be epic encounter, but I fancy Real Madrid going through because it's Champions League and the speed of Real Madrid. If Vinny and Mbappe starts running, direct running, Bayern will have some problems unless Olise does something. But Olise never tracks back, so I see Real edging it a little bit, yeah. But if Bayern dismantles Real Madrid, then Bayern Munich and Barcelona are the favorites. You know, it's going to be a fascinating Champions League. We can do a separate one for Champions League. Now let's talk about Barcelona a little bit
Are we doing good
because
with time?
we went past our time slot, but we're gonna talk about Barcelona. We basically did. They are also a force to reckon with in the Champions League.
For sure.
It might. I will not be surprised because their path to the final is pretty straightforward. They can actually make the final, and from the other side, somebody else can.
Barcelona played Atletico Madrid
Yeah,
today in the
they're
La
gonna
Liga.
play. They're gonna play two more times in the Champions League, and Simeone is gonna.
Oh my god!
I'm. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody's getting hurt in these two games. All right, Simeone is gonna make sure somebody gets hurt.
Oh my god!
He's gonna send his son, Simeone. What is it, Gianluca Simeone, to go after somebody and beat
Simeone
the
Jr.
crowd. Simeone Jr. Like yeah. So Barcelona gonna still win. Barcelona gonna go past Atletico Madrid. Who cares about Atletico Madrid? As long as Simeone is there, they're not winning anything. Maybe a
Oh
Copa
god!
del Rey. Maybe a Copa del Rey. They're not winning. They're definitely not winning the Champions League. Definitely not winning La Liga. They did win a couple of times. I think 2 or 3 times under Simeone, but that's because Barcelona effed up big time. Um, but yeah, now we're gonna wrap it up by talking about a club called Chelsea and how it doesn't fit our culture and this and that about Liam Rossanier. He's talking about Enzo Fernandez. I like the guy. I like the man he is. I just don't like the way he talked about, a little bit of a city called Madrid, and he talked about Tony Cruz. Okay, with all due respect, this guy wants to go to Real Madrid. All right, everybody knows that Enzo Fernandez, he couldn't agree on a new contract with the Chelsea in February or March. He's Argentinian. He's tired of London. These Argentinian players do not stick around in the Premier League. With all due respect, Argentinians, they think they have an entitlement, which I don't like, but they have that.
Unless your last name is Martinez.
Which Martinez?
Two Martinez.
Lautaro or is it Lisandro?
Lisandro and Emiliano.
Emiliano is partially British because did you see him talking British accent? This guy he
Same like
represents
Rosenio.
Argentina.
Does he talk like Rosenio?
Yeah, he does a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
So you would say he's more part of the culture, British culture.
yeah, he is part of the British culture. Yeah, yeah. He just plays because Argentina doesn't have a goalkeeper. They don't have a goalkeeper. They need Emilio Martinez. But yeah, these players want to play for Real Madrid, and his agent is Javier Pastore. Remember Javier Pastore? This guy
Pastore.
always injured. Played for Napoli, I think. Plays for PSG, but always injured.
But speaking of Emiliano Martinez, he's in trouble in this World Cup.
Why? Who's the
Goalkeepers have to let the ball go in 10 seconds or 5 seconds. 8 seconds.
Yeah.
There'll be a timer, just like the NBA for the keeper.
Well, he's gonna drop it, and then I'm gonna pick it up for another 8 seconds, and then he's gonna do the shimmy, and then that's it. He's gonna do the shimmy to the referee. But oh, by the way, hot take: Argentina are not retaining the World Cup. Let's be clear on that. Okay, I'm saying it straight up. I'm saying it today.
By the way, my was fake. I don't see them retaining the World Cup.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do another episode on World Cup. Who's gonna win it? I know exactly who's gonna win it.
Oh,
so,
okay.
The dark horses.
This has to be
and
clipped.
the
This has to be clipped.
This has to be clipped, right? So Enzo Fernandez, he talks about, this is the first time I've actually seen this. He has been suspended for 2 games, or not suspended. They said they're not going to pick him in the next 2 or 3 games or whatever. So he has been banished from the squad, and then he comes back and sits with the squad and puts a smile on. He supports Chelsea, but he wants to go. I mean, the dude started a charm offensive, and he wants to go to Real Madrid. Real Madrid are apparently not interested in him. It's a one-way love, basically.
One-way love.
Yeah, one-sided love affair.
One direction.
One direction. So Real Madrid might come back, but I don't think that's their priority. So, what do you think? Is it a fair thing, or is it just a joke? Or Chelsea are always a joke?
No, I think it's a little bit too harsh. I think they didn't have to make it a big scene. Enzo Fernandez has been one of the most prolific players for them this season. Most consistent. When Palmer was absent, he pulled up his socks. He was in set pieces. He got assists and goals almost on a regular basis. He messed up my FPL also because I did not pick him. But FPL is not the main topic today. But I don't think they should have done him that dirty. Like it's giving him more reason to get the hell away from London and move away. He doesn't deserve it, especially after his performance this season. They could have just ignored it and just spoken to him and give him a pat on the shoulder, like, "Hey, listen, can we not do this next time?" So I really feel like this was unnecessary.
Do you want him at Real Madrid?
Yeah, I would like him at Real Madrid.
So he's going to replace Jude Bellingham?
They're not going to replace Jude because they need Jude as a face of the club because he's very popular among the young fan base in Madrid. So, and even, Adidas is sponsoring up. They have his own JB logo or something like that. So they're not going to let him go like that. There's a lot of money around Bellingham. So Enzo is probably going to be a number 2.
Or he can be Modric replacement?
Now, once you mention Modric and Madrid together, it sets the bar really high. Toni Kroos and Modric, right? So Enzo, obviously, he has the caliber. But you know who, as the Argentinian player, who I think is probably going to be the most fierce in the upcoming World Cup is going to be Julian Alvarez. More than Enzo Fernandez. Enzo is going to be great. I think he's one of the best tanks in the Argentine midfield. But Julian Alvarez, he's been so good. He for Atletico Madrid, he's scoring everything from everywhere. He's creating the chances. He's having one of the best seasons probably. So Julian Alvarez is someone I would like at Real Madrid more than Enzo Fernandez.
He's not going to Real Madrid. He's going to Barcelona.
That's the problem.
Deco wants him at Barcelona, and if Deco wants him,
He's gonna go.
correct. All right, I guess that wraps it up for this episode of Football Moshla podcast. We're gonna come back hopefully for more episodes like this.
Definitely.
If you guys know what to do, then please do that. Subscribe to the channel and just wait for us to drop episodes left, right, and center. All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
Have a good one.